beloved listeners, and welcome to Snake People at the Movies, film criticism by people who actually like film. Join us as we dive into movies we love, movies we respect, and movies we wish we could unsee. It's the podcast where we talk about growing up and living queer, nerdy, and depressed, online and at the cinema. From the kids who cry every time anyone hugs in Lord of the Rings, it's Sneople at the Movies. I'm Ezra.
I'm Helena.
And I'm Matty.
So this week on Sneople at the Movies, it is a subject near and dear to our gay little hearts. Male intimacy. Mostly on screen. We're probably going to talk about a few other things, but it's mostly male intimacy on screen.
And we spent a lot of time figuring out the way we wanted to frame this, because male intimacy obviously can mean a lot of things. So we are, in true speech and debate fashion, before we start, we are defining our terms. So kind of the ideas that we're referring to is male relationships and male identity in homosocial groups, like all male situations or subcultures or sub-societies, things like that. And this covers a lot of different things. So this is like gender relations. This is like, we're probably going to talk about like boyhood relationships and male relationships in the media and how those get romanticized. One of the things that there will be a full episode on homoeroticism. Don't get it fucking twisted.
Oh yeah, probably several.
It's a feature in almost all of our episodes. That's the secret Easter egg. Like how we talk about
the gay shit alert.
Yeah, we talk about Lord of the Rings every single episode, so
yeah, if we ever release an episode where we don't talk about Lord of the Rings, you should probably, like, check and see if you're subscribed to the right podcast.
Just call somebody. Call your mom. Make sure everything's alright. You're not in the wrong universe.
For April Fools, we'll just do an episode where we talk about Citizen Kane.
Oh boy.
We won't mention Lord of the Rings once.
We'll just talk about how much I like Citizen Kane as a piece of film.
Rest in peace, Orson Welles.
I don't need to get into it. I almost just got into it, R.E. Citizen Kane, but that's not what this episode's about. It's about men.
It isn't.
No.
Well, speaking of themes and titles for this episode, it's called Intricate Rituals, which is cribbed lovingly from a piece of art by Barbara Kruger, which is untitled, but it's the one where it's like a black and white photograph of a bunch of dudes dressed in like formal wear, and it has big blocky pop art text that says you construct intricate rituals which allow you to touch the skin of other men.
Which, like, as a piece of art, I think is one of my favorites. I forget about it sometimes.
It's super fucking cool.
And then I think about it again, and I'm just like, oh, God, it's just so... There's so much packed into a little sentence. It's such a punch in the face. I spent a lot of time looking at that art while we were talking about this episode and, like, trying to find it on a shirt somewhere so I could just wear it to literally everything I go to. I'll wear it at work. I'll wear it at D&D. I'll wear it to... fucking family Christmas. I just love it.
Definitely, especially the last one.
It's a conversation starter.
It's definitely a conversation starter, you're right.
Yep. Breaks the ice.
Okay, so let's jump in. Where do we want to start?
That was going to be my question.
Well, dang, let's figure that out together.
Do you guys want to talk about gender as this relates to you? Because this is, something that I know you both mentioned last time.
Yeah, that's a fun place to start. I would love to talk about my kind of responses to nuanced and emotionally charged male relationships in fiction and me being non-binary.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like...
I think that was how... that was where the idea for this episode came from before the show even started. I think you and I were walking back from the bakery around the corner from my house.
Oh yeah, fuck, that was what it was.
Yeah. And just talking about the impact that these kinds of things had on us as two people who are non-binary. I tend to kind of skirt closer to masculinity myself, though I go back and forth. My gender is gay, is how I tend to put it.
Honestly, I think I'm headed for, I've had to do a kind of lot of reevaluating of that in the last couple of years, and I feel like I'm kind of headed for the same place.
Yeah, once again, you and I are mirrors of each other in so many ways.
We are, in fact. Yeah, it's very true. And so I think that one of the things that I find really compelling, almost in like a fantasy sense, about especially movies that take place in really homosocial environments. I think this is part of my, like, it would be fair to call it kind of a fixation on war movies, or movies in which that take place in societies that are made up of mostly or exclusively men. Because it means that all of the emotional roles in those movies end up being filled by men. Men are leaders, men are supporters, men are caretakers, men are allowed to fill sort of the whole spectrum of social roles, and nobody ever questions that you're a man because everybody's a man. There's no sense of, like, you know, you in a war movie, your team doctor can be really supportive and loving, and a lot of times almost what people would think of as like a maternal figure, and nobody's ever like, oh, that makes you less masculine because masculinity is like the thing that allows everybody into that space. And so it's never questioned because it's just assumed. And so you end up with this kind of, for me, I end up with this kind of fantasy of being allowed to relate to people without having to think about how it would affect their perception of my gender.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely yes. It's so... How do I want to phrase this? There's no performance. There's no posturing. There's so much less of the toxicity and the shit that makes it difficult, and is painful to kind of trend towards masculinity or anything like that. It's just gone. And it's refreshing. Oh my god. It's such an ideal world to look at that and be like, none of you are going to think less of me. I don't have to, stand tall or start fights so you take me seriously.
Yeah. Everybody has masculinity, so nobody's is under threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like, God... a perfect world.
Yeah, I know. It's like, man, that's like, I wish I see that and I think, oh man, like, that's the kind of relationship that I want. I want to be seen as, and then I think about it, I'm like, oh, it's really just that I want to be seen as the same gender as whoever I want to have a close relationship with. I want them to look at me and see the same as them.
Yeah.
Because because I think of the sort of element of equal footing that automatically puts people on. I want to be on equal footing with people I care about, and so in order to have that, I want them to see me as fundamentally the same.
Especially, and maybe this is just for me, I don't want to speak for you. Though I guess it's for both. I was going to say especially for relationships with men, because men who look at you and see a woman, they automatically they don't see you on equal footing. Some of them do, obviously. I feel like I have to say that because if I don't, someone's going to yell at me. But
well, but overall, sort of like they have to that's the default and it's something that you have to work past.
Right. I have to earn respect. It is not given.
Yeah.
Inherently. And it is so... Yeah. It's sad. It's sad.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Gender relations fucking suck.
Yeah.
They're bad.
Yeah. And for women, I don't want to be seen as a threat. And I want them to identify that I come from a similar background, and I see them and identify with them and, like, have a kinship with them.
It's like I'm not exactly... I might not be exactly the same, but I'm similar...
Right.
enough to understand, you know, to sort of speak the same unspoken language.
Yeah. I no longer wear that hat, but we were, once upon a time, same hat. Like... Yeah. And it's like, or for me, I'm like, sometimes, I wear, like, a similar style of hat. Right. I wear a few hats, and sometimes they look very similar to the hat that you wear.
Yeah. This is a very haberdashery-focused explanation of gender.
Yeah, it's all, you know. You know what the gays love? Hats.
Hats. Mood.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then it's... I feel like the funny thing is that, like, I gravitate towards war movies. I like Westerns. I am the biggest geek ever for anything related to Age of Sail shit.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Ezra, and I like movies that take place on boats. But I don't go for sports movies as much as you would think based on my affection for that kind of story. And I feel like
sports movies are a little bit different, though.
Sports movies are a little bit different, and I think that the difference with sports movies is that a sports team winning or losing always has an element of about, like, striving for the approval of people who are not just your sports team.
Yeah, a lot of them are about, like, the exceptionalism of that, like, usually it's, like, American exceptionalism in sports in some way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean...
that is definitely true.
And, like, you know, sometimes it's more gauche than others, but I think it's less about... I mean, there are some of them that are about the relationships and stuff, but I think that they're less about like thinking about those relationships and more about like, look how good we are at sports and what that meant to people, and that's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, they're much more sports movies than relationship movies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sports are okay, but there's not really...
I don't care.
Or a lot of them are also about like the community at large. Like I'm thinking about a lot of like football movies particular are about, it's not about just the team, it's about the team's impact on their local community. And I think, as you said, like them winning is like they've proved them. Sports movies often come back around to being like they've proved how like fucking butch they are, you know?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
My favorite sports movie is Seabiscuit, so I think it's something like that.
Which is a horse girl movie.
Yeah. Hey.
God, oh
Don't
man.
call me that.
Oh, fucking Jesus, it's been so long since I've thought about fucking Seabiscuit. I
hate you, Matty, because I'm wearing a shirt right now. For reference, for those who aren't in the room, which is nobody, I'm currently wearing a sweatshirt that I've had since I was 10 years old, which is a shirt from it's somewhere in Oregon, Pendleton, Oregon, and it has horses on it because I went horseback riding when I was 10. And you call me that in front of everyone.
On the day of my daughter's wedding.
Day of my daughter's wedding. I'm never forgiving you.
Get wrecked.
Beloved listeners, you're witnessing the real-time demise of Helena and Matty's friendship.
This is my supervillain origin story.
I can't believe you're wearing a shirt that's older than our friendship and it's got fucking horses on it.
And it still fits me.
See, now shit, I'm thinking about what wild. My favorite, well, it's funny because one of my favorite sports movies of all time definitely fits the bill for, like, male intimacy movies, because it's really a, like, platonic rom-com that uses sports as a backdrop. I don't know if anybody
like
here
Hot Fuzz.
besides us kind of, yeah. It's I don't know how many of you, which you should go see it if you have seen a movie called The Damned United.
I still haven't seen it, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you watch it with me one of these days. So it's Helena, have you seen The Damned United?
I haven't. I want to, though.
Oh,
Snake
okay,
People
yeah,
movie night.
Yeah, I own this thing on DVD because I don't know, I bought it at a secondhand store because this is the kind of person I am. It's based on a true story. It stars Martin Sheen. Fuck me.
I was gonna say
Michael Sheen. It does not have Martin Sheen,
such an important,
the distinguished West Wing alumnus in it. It has Michael Sheen, the distinguished actor from Britain. Is he Welsh? I believe he's Welsh. I'm
that
not
is
going to look it up. I'm not
highly
gonna do
possible. I got you.
I hope he's having a nice day. Anyway, the two of them
Yeah, he's Welsh.
play soccer. Wow, why did I just know that off the top of my head? The two of them play soccer team managers who, like, have been working together for a bazillion years, and they finally kind of hit it big, and Sheen's character gets a big head about it and kind of ends up basically just, like, turning into an asshole and kind of gives up on his friendship with Timothy Spall's character to chase notoriety and fame and money and all of this stuff, and it basically has to reckon with the fact that he's not nearly as good at his job alone as they are together.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. And then has to, like, come back to him, and it is the textbook, like, boy has boy loses boy gets boy back thing. And it's very, like, low-key and sweet, and the two of them have a really good rapport. And it's, like, it uses professional sports as just kind of, like, a backdrop. Like, it is a movie about football, but it's not, like, a football movie. And you should all watch it, because it's fucking great, and it's just this, like, tiny, cute little, like, low-key gem of a movie, and I love it. I like movies where, I don't know, like, that acknowledge, like, that it's just a movie about, like, two adult men who have, you know, they have families, they have good relationships with their families, and they have good relationships with each other's families. But they also, like, they realize that they need to have a relationship with another adult man who they can talk about emotional shit with and, like, be supportive and have a lot of the things that kind of will often get pushed onto the female characters in a narrative, that, like, the emotional maintenance of men falls to women, and instead this is, like, two adult men who, like, take responsibility for each other's emotional well-being.
Oh, I know you just said jokingly that that's basically, like, before Ezra explained the plot, that's basically Hot Fuzz, but also it is basically Hot Fuzz, except that they're not football managers.
They're cops.
You know, they're cops.
That's the difference, is they're cops.
And that's kind of that's the famous, I don't know, infamous cult known story about the writing of Hot Fuzz, is that, right, there was a female love interest in Hot Fuzz in addition to Nick Frost's character, and they eventually just took the female character out and gave all of her stuff to his character, Danny. So
Yep.
That's just what the relationship is. Anyway.
Man, I don't know if that's really true, but every time I watch that movie, I feel like I could sit there with a highlighter and tell you what parts were originally written for an unnamed love interest that got shifted onto Danny.
Yeah, I'm willing to believe it, even if it is unproven by sources. For now.
That is definitely another situation where it's two men doing emotional maintenance for each other. And obviously, Angel has the more maintenance to do, but you also see Danny, like, grow up also over the course of their relationship together. He matures as a cop and as a person and as a son.
Yeah, he grows up because he wants to come up to Angel's level. Like, it's definitely something where their relationship, like, makes both of them better. It's not like I have to... It's not one of those, like, oh, I have to, like... I feel like a lot of emotional arcs for men in movies are, like, I have to, like, prove somebody wrong. Or I have to, like, tick off a certain number of boxes before I can, like, earn my romantic relationship with a woman. And this one, it's like... I want to rise to your level because I want us to meet as equals. Like, I want us to be able to be there for each other on even footing.
Right. Or for Angel, it's my actions and my behavior has hurt people and I want to change to be a better person because that is what you deserve.
Yeah, I want to be a better partner.
And, okay, obviously the romantic partner is a subtext, but, like, is it? Really? Is it really a subtext? It's not.
It's pretty textual. But
They're
also, I mean, like, he literally wants to also be a better, like, job partner, friend partner. You know, it's definitely a buddy cop movie in the sense of, like, they have a partnership.
Which leads into the thing I wanted to say is that in terms of... Because I was thinking about this when we were talking about Holmes and Watson. And bachelorhood, in that they are two men who live together and have a partnership. And it is a strong platonic partnership, and it's essentially a life partnership. Even after Watson gets married, like that is still a solid, important relationship.
Yeah,
where they balance each other out.
Yeah, it's the longest relationship of both of their lives, and like arguably,
by far
the most intimate for them too.
Yeah, it's definitely the one with the most like trust. I mean, and especially like it's their home base. Like, Watson gets married and leaves, and then his wife dies, and what does he do? He comes right back to Baker Street and Holmes. Mm-hmm. And like, on the one hand, you know, Doyleist interpretation, Doyle was writing what sold, which was Holmes and Watson together, but Watsonian interpretation, that's where home is.
Home is where the Holmes is.
Home is where the Holmes is.
Sorry, I did it. I apologize to our beloved listeners for that accidental pun.
But you're not wrong.
No.
The problem is Holmes is the cornerstone. Yeah. He's kind of the point zero. And so is Watson. Is they are each other's kind of like everything else kind of spins off of that central point and comes back to it.
Yeah, well, and there's this sense, I think, that both of them each can be the most authentically himself when they are together.
They're soulmates.
That's another thing. Like, they don't have to, they don't have to censor any part of themselves around each other. Oh boy.
Boy, I love Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, let's just have, and then now you just get a moment of silence for how much all of us love Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yes, once again, I'm sure we'll have a Holmes episode.
Oh god, yeah, that's gonna be a fun one.
That's gonna be a good one. I can't believe we haven't talked about it before now, but like that's gonna be such a good one. We're gonna talk about the Guy Ritchie Holmes briefly. I'm just thinking about there was a piece which I will find and I will tweet out when this episode goes up. That was I think a zine of some kind, or a fanzine, that was the interpretation of Sherlock Holmes as a trans man.
Oh yeah.
And his like relationship with masculinity and femininity both are so interesting. I'll have to find it for you, Helena. I don't remember it super well, so I wouldn't mind reading it again.
Right.
I remember seeing that like a million years ago.
I reblogged it again recently.
Nice.
It's so good. It's so good. And it's not very long either. It's a relatively broken down kind of thesis on the topic, but thinking about the relationship with masculinity, and he's still, it turns into the like, we're all men out here, so we get to fill different roles thing, where like,
yeah,
the two of them aren't performing masculinity at each other. They're just like people. They're just like two dudes solving mysteries. And they act like that around other people when it's the two of them. Like, the two of them balance each other out. It's not like other people show up and they're like, whoop, time to be men again. They are very naturally together in public spaces, which is great.
And it's funny that like that like the idea of like confirmed bachelorhood, and then if you go back a little bit farther in terms of that being like the end of the 19th century, and then as you get back further, you get more. I feel like there's a reason that a lot of the movies that we end up thinking about are period pieces, and it's because there's a lot of traditionally mono-gendered institutions that are just, that's not really how we structure our society on the whole anymore.
Mm-mm.
And that's like not, I'm not getting into the politics of co-ed education, because that's not what this fucking podcast is about. This is about me yelling about, I don't know, E.M. Forster novels and crap. Everybody go watch Maurice. That's a separate episode. That's the gay shit episode as opposed to the male intimacy episode.
No, this is reminding me of that thing about that was going around about the movie Wings, which
I don't know what you're talking about, my dude.
Oh,
this is a long time ago.
Wings featured. No, you tell the story.
Well, it's the first technically like on-screen kiss between two men. The context is that one of them is dying. It's just like it's a war movie. If I'm fully thinking about that correctly,
it's a World War One movie about pilots.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing with like pilots are always gay, kind of a stereotype thing.
Flying is gay.
Anyway,
flying is gay.
It's true.
Sorry,
space is gay.
I did. Yeah, it's true. I did write Star Trek on this doc, so just in case. But so one of them is dying, and they're holding each other, and he kisses him goodbye, and so it's like the first documented on-screen kiss between two men. It was in 1927. And there was just something going around, unfortunately, on the site that must not be named.
Tungle.hell.
Tungle.hell.
Blue hell site. Blue hell site.
Was talking about how, and this is like, not sourced, but this is just somebody talking about it, was that this was for audiences not considered to be a romantic kiss because they understood that a man kissing another man was like an expression of friendship and love, even if it wasn't romantic, and it was, normal for men to embrace each other in that way. And so that wasn't that long ago, in 1927, but there is something to be said about like the, certain things that you read in novels or stories from the 19th century or the early 20th century, where it's like, it may not have intended to be homoerotic or not. It's just that now, because of what's the word I'm looking for? Because of how fragile masculinity is in today's culture, it's just that any expression of physical affection between two men on screen is seen as being gay, and I'm all for that, but I think that's worth talking about, that like we look at that differently because we're so much more what's the word? The word that keeps coming to mind is closeted, but that's not it. It's like it's like, I mean, that is it, but also like restrained or fragile, I guess. I don't know. But that's what I was just thinking about with that period pieces thing.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true.
Yeah. And stop me if I'm just like rehashing what you just said. I'm like making sure I understood it correctly, but like homosexuality was just such a thing that like like, obviously, we have always existed, and that's just a fact.
True.
But it wasn't spoken of, it so wasn't in the public eye that, like, you could do stuff like that in the media, and it was like, that's just guys being dudes. Like, it was automatically read as a platonic male intimacy. Yeah, and that's just not the case anymore.
Yeah, I'm trying to... That's kind of correct. I'm trying to find the E.M. Forster quote, actually. Ezra, I don't know if you know it, where he talks about the history of, like, of social awareness of homosexuality, where he talks about transitioning from, like, this unawareness and, like, fear or something into familiarity and disgust, where you know the quote I'm talking about. Shoot, I'm trying to find it. I think he's talking about it in relation to Maurice, and but I can't think of what.
I'm googling.
Google.
Familiarity. From ignorance and terror to familiarity and contempt.
There it is. That's right. So that's kind of what that thing is like. Yeah, that was kissing another man on the face or on the mouth, which was seen as, like, a perfectly normal thing to do between two men with a platonic relationship. And then once social awareness of, like, once like somebody dared, try and push being gay is a horrible way to phrase this sentence, just grammatically. Once more people were coming out and trying to, be gay in public, basically, people started reacting to that in a different way. So ignorance and terror into familiarity and contempt. That's what I wanted to say about that. Boy, this episode got dark, hey?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was always going to.
It's the other side of the coin where it's this is not the exact phrase, but I think about it similar to gender in general. And boy, is it such a big umbrella. There's gender euphoria. There's the bright side. There's the being seen as what you want to be seen. There's the joy of, like, identity. There's the joy of being known, which is not the quote, but there's that. And then on the other side, there will always be people, and on some level there's often yourself, and there's fear, and there's hatred, and there's confusion, and it's hard to have discussions about gender and the adjusting around it and the interpretations of it and it in the media without coming to the inevitable discussion of the hurtfulness of it at times, or the way people will hurt you for it. That's, it is unavoidable. But just like, I think, to kind of go back, when we first started talking about this, there was a lot of, like, very fond thoughts about male intimacy and, like, the way it made us feel, and, like, the way I always get really teary-eyed every time I watch Lord of the Rings, and, like,
oh my god,
when Boromir dies and, like, Aragorn very gently, like, holds his face, and, like, that feeling, which, though I am incredibly sad, is, like, there's this positive, like, that intimacy brings me joy. There's also, a sense of loss, or a sense of longing, or a sense of pain that, like, it is so difficult to find these things or have these things. It is almost covetous the way you watch these things sometimes.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah. Because it's like if masculinity is the currency by which you purchase entrance into a space where you could have that kind of relationship, then if you feel like you can't pay the entry fee, or society's never going to let you get to a point where you can pay the entry fee, or you just have, like, a complicated relationship with wanting to go there at all,
or if you pay the fee, you can't come back out.
Yeah, you can't move between the two, even if you wanted to. like, either way, there's a sense of potential loss, or a sense of, I wish I could have that and it could be
easy.
Yeah, I wish it could be easy. I wish it could be, even when those moments are super, super fraught in stories, which they often are, there's still an easiness to it that you just crave.
Absolutely.
I guess.
Absolutely. Not to be gay. We just spent like fucking 45 minutes talking about being gay.
I mean, that's
Hold on.
This entire episode is basically just, hey, so...
No homo.
We're
Guys
literally
being dudes.
incapable of not being gay.
Dudes
We
being gay.
can't do it.
Show me your dick, Steve. No, wait.
What? Oh god,
Let me finish my fucking sentence.
What's your fucking sentence?
Let me finish my sentence. I just wanted to say that you guys make me feel that way. Like, I feel like I have this intimacy with you guys, and it makes me feel seen, and I love you guys.
Oh,
and that's
no.
what this podcast is about. It's about loving my best friends. Helena, say what you wanted to say.
No, fucking hell, Matty. I'm gonna start crying. Fuck you.
Wow, I was just about to talk about emotional repression, so this is good.
Cool, put it all back in the box and talk about emotional repression.
Well, no, I'm just wondering, like, if that, I feel like this is always what it's been a part of for me. Like, I love watching female friendships on film and on screen and in books, but there's also something about this particular brand of friendships that we often see between men where they can't really fully be emotionally open with each other before they cross that line, that I personally really connect to, because I just think I have a hard time expressing my emotions in a very, or my feelings in a very open way, and being like open about like how I feel in my relationships with people. Like, it's hard for me to, say things like I love you, or to anybody, not just to my friends, and to, give people hugs and do all that kind of stuff. So I think that there is something like the reason why we cry every single time two dudes hug each other in Lord of the Rings. It's because, oh God, like, yeah, I wish I could do that. There's something about just that line that I think I personally connect to. So
yeah, absolutely. And I feel that too. I've on my end, it took a really long time to get to the point, and like I did just say I love you guys and you mean a lot to me, but I did just yell it at you, and I did say it like a joke, so like I understand. I remember the first time, so for context, I don't think we've talked about this, but Helena and I have been friends for like
we tried
close to half our lives at this point.
Calculating?
Actually.
Yeah.
Shit. Next year will be the halfway
14
point.
years?
So I was about to turn 13, and I'm 25 now, so it's been like 12 years.
Yeah.
It'll be 13 years this spring. So yeah, no, it's this year that will be like the halfway point. God, that's kind of wild.
That's
but
awesome.
I think I remember the first time that we ever said I love you to each other, and I was drunk. And in my second attack at college. So I was like 20?
I don't
21?
remember.
I remember texting you and being like, man, I love you. And you were like, I love you too. And both of us were kind of hesitant about it. It was a little bit, and like I only said it because I was unsober, and it took a lot to get us to this point. But I know what you mean in that, like, I am fresh off a Two Towers watch, so I'm thinking about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
as per.
I mean, something that's gotten me into trouble in my actual like romantic relationships is the thing of people saying, "Oh, like." People complimenting me or saying I like you, and me being like, yeah, same, or likewise. Like, actually, as a real person, that's what's come out of my mouth. So
yeah,
I feel that anyway.
I've said thanks before.
Nice.
Thanks.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh man, okay.
It's I think about in Two Towers at the end of Disc 2 when Frodo just like flips and is about to fucking stab Sam. and Sam just says, don't... it's me, don't you know you're Sam? And like yours in a platonic, and that's one of those things that always just gets me.
Yeah.
Like you said, that like you see something like that, and for people who are emotionally repressed and, you know, something, maybe it has something to do with being closeted, maybe it doesn't.
Oh,
maybe
absolutely.
It's both. Who knows? It's a fucking cocktail shaker of shit.
Yeah.
You see that, you think, oh. There's not a lot of words for a feeling like that, is there?
No.
But I think we all read each other.
The amount of trust is the other thing. Like, so many of these, like, intimate male relationships are based on trust. A lot of times it's trust forged from, like, outside adversity. But if you think about how often, like, on the other side, how often, like, heterosexual relationships in stories are concerned with the potential for infidelity.
Mm-hmm.
It's so often about not being able to be sure of your partner because on some level you fundamentally cannot understand them. Then you turn around in the intimate relationships you have with, like, characters have with the people of the same gender, because they are the same, they're founded in trust rather than doubt. And now my brain just went down the Othello rabbit hole, so...
But that's an absolutely fair comparison.
Yeah, and if you think about, like, the underlying assumption that, for instance, men can never be sure of women, but then are in the way that they can be sure of men. And of course, Othello is completely mistaken about his relationships with both Desdemona and Iago, but he operates under those twin assumptions, and they're both wrong, but that's the baseline.
That's the conflict, basically, of Othello. That's it. You've broken Othello down into its basic parts.
Yep. Hey, what's up, everybody?
Well, I think it would be. I was thinking about this earlier when we were talking about gender, in terms of performing Shakespeare. Obviously, Shakespeare is something that is now open to, and has been for a while open to, gender bending. And I've been involved in several productions where I played parts that were traditionally written for a male character. And in particular, I did a production of Hamlet a couple of years ago, in which I played Rosencrantz, and there were several characters that were gender bent in that show, Hamlet and Guildenstern and myself included. But I remember talking about, like, well, what, like, people asking me what gender I was playing in this. And, like, what was I playing Rosencrantz as a woman or as a man? And I personally, I believe that I am cisgendered, but gender is also, like, not a thing for me. Like, it's not really important to me at all. And so I honestly said when people asked me that, like, I wasn't playing Rosencrantz as anything. I was just playing Rosencrantz as myself. And I feel like, I don't know where this is going, but I was I was thinking about that, and, like, how, yeah, I don't know where this is going. I'm just looking at my Hamlet DVD thinking about Hamlet and intimate relationships in Hamlet and gender in Hamlet and how big of a rabbit hole this is opening.
My bad, everybody.
You're not wrong.
You are not wrong.
We could all talk about Shakespeare for quite some time.
Yeah.
Especially in relation to gender, and, like, where does that...
Yeah.
So much of Shakespeare's works is based in gender, and, like, you get down to kind of the roots of it, and it's like, but what is... Gender doesn't mean anything. Gender doesn't mean anything. What does this mean? What do I do with this?
Am I gonna add on a t-shirt?
God, let's like not even go down that rabbit hole right now, because I almost just opened my maw wide and was like, you know, but we're not gonna know. We're gonna deal with this later.
the snake people are not going to unhinge our collective jaw and just like unload all of our Shakespeare opinions on you right now on this podcast.
Except there are intimate relationships between men in Shakespeare. That's all we'll say.
And that's that on that.
That's that on.
Oh man.
So something that Helena, you wrote this in the document as we were talking, and I thought that you said that, and I had like a light bulb. We were talking about like period pieces and Age of Sails and stuff. You brought up Star Trek. And it's like, oh, because Star Trek it's in a utopian future, but it has so many similar comparisons to make with like Age of Sails kind of feeling, even though there's like plenty of women on those ships, you know, like but they're all equal. Like they're the whole point of Star Trek is that they're all, first of all, the whole point of Star Trek is money doesn't exist anymore, and we're here to keep the peace. And there's like a bazillion rules, but and also the uniforms are sexy.
The in-universe rules around currency are they go back and forth, but my perfect Star Trek universe does not have money, and some writers of Star Trek's perfect Star Trek universe doesn't have money, so I'm going with that.
Yeah, no, Star Trek doesn't have money. Yeah. But
laying down the law.
The important part is like thinking of TOS specifically and our three sweet boys.
Sweet boys.
Guess which one of us is which in the Trump variant. I feel like it's probably a little bit harder than you think.
Ezra is. Am I not allowed to say?
Shh! Don't say. I legitimately want people to guess. I don't think anyone's going to, but like I want to know what people think.
I know, I'm so curious. Hey, tweet at us at @people_snake with your guesses for who fits who in the Kirk Spock Bones relationship.
Because we did figure this out, obviously.
Oh yeah. We have the appropriate Funko Pops.
Yeah,
like we all have our Funko Pop of the person that we are.
Matty, I started typing that when I think Ezra was talking about like the Age of Sail and like the ship's doctor, and because that's kind of the whole thing in like Master and Commander is that relationship between the captain and the doctor, and I know Ezra, isn't Star Trek in some way based off of Horatio Hornblower a little bit?
It is, yeah. I think one of I think that was definitely one of Roddenberry's inspirations for especially a little bit of like, I mean, a little bit of the sort of like Kirk's kind of a prodigy kind of thing in a similar way that Horatio Hornblower is, where he's really good at sailing, he's a natural leader. And I think that, and sort of the kind of episodic adventures of one man's growth as a leader.
Yeah. Memory Alpha says that Gene Roddenberry's original pitch for Star Trek described the ship's proposed hero as a space-age Captain Horatio Hornblower. Both tales shared major themes centering on the captain of a ship far from home, depending on his vessel, a loyal crew, and his own considerable wits to resolve military and diplomatic crises threatening his country's interests, but not country, and less, ideally, as the series goes on and as we get into Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, less imperialist than that. Ideally.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Oof, that's a whole other can of worms that we don't need to open right this second.
Not this second. But that is like the kind of the great, I mean, Star Trek is unique in that way because of the construction of those three characters of Kirk, Spock, and Bones, because Roddenberry originally had this one character who was the captain, who was all of these great things, and then he split them into three characters instead, so...
There's a delightful quote about it where he says, I took a perfect man and split him into three parts.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
It's something like that.
I think so. That sounds right to me.
I'm going to have to look it up.
It's under my TOS tag on tumblr.hell.
Yeah, it's on the Blue Hell site. Somewhere in my tag on the Blue Hell site.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep looking this up while you guys talk about Star Trek.
Yeah, go for it. Well, yeah, so you get men who have, specifically original series, you get three men who all have complementary job requirements. It takes all three of them to keep the ship running. But then also they all need each other on a, like, functioning as people level.
Yeah.
It's not just, like, they're not the traditional, like, I am an island kind of, you know, we can work together well, but each of us, like, is a discrete emotional entity. They're all stronger together, both on a personal level as well as a professional level.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like that. There was another really great thing that went around. Ezra, I actually think I reblocked it from you again on the Blue Hell site.
Oh, geez.
That's like a situation taken from an actual episode. That's the three of them talking about something. I can't remember which episode it is, but it's like, here's what they do when they're trying to work out this problem. Like, Spock is, I'm just, like, quoting from it directly. Spock is most morally outraged by the violation of truth, and Bones is most morally outraged by the harm done to innocent beings. But they're both, like, equally outraged by it, and then Kirk, like, takes the balance of that and pinpoints the solution to it, and figures out how to solve it. So Kirk is like, you know, so Bones is always bringing out the emotional argument. Spock is bringing up the logic of it, and then Kirk just pinpoints that and decides what to do. And that's how you have, like, a perfect sort of what's the word I'm looking for? A perfect captain. Kirk's the perfect captain. But it's because he has those two in his life, you know.
So in novel, stream of consciousness goes inside the hero's head, and you can read what he's thinking. You don't have that in television. Makes sense. So I thought if I took a perfect person and divided him into three parts, I could have the administrative, courageous part that would be the captain, the logical part, who is the science officer, and the humanistic part with the doctor, which is kind of relates to what you just said in that, like,
yeah,
Bones is the heart, and Spock is the mind, and then Kirk finds the balance. But he wouldn't be able to find the balance without them. Like, he can't find those two pieces on his own. They have to provide it, and then when he has all the information, he could go, oh, okay, now here's what we do.
Ugh, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah. God, I love Star Trek.
Same.
We all just have to, like, hang out here for a moment basking in how much we love Star Trek. I'm so glad that you're all here.
I just love Star Trek.
Beloved listeners, I'm so glad that you're all here for us just, like, glorying in how much we love movies and TV. We love stories, and you're here because you love stories too, so thanks for hanging out with us while we shout at one another about them.
Yeah.
This is the most emotionally honest episode of Sneople yet, and also the most serious, and also, like...
Yeah, it only took us 4 episodes to open up to,
you know?
Well, you know.
Everyone.
But, like, that's what but that's what the movies are like. You know, you can go to the movies and have just, like, a fun, good time. You can go to the movies and have a really, like, deliciously terrifying experience. And you can go to the movies and have a really, like, emotionally raw kind of experience that makes you feel really seen. It can do all of those things, and it's kind of fun to be able to, we can talk about all of those things together because we trust each other and shit.
God, it was going so good. but you're right. That's, you know, I think we talk about here's why we're doing this, but why we're doing it is because we love movies, we love the way they make us feel, and we love the way we feel together talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a thesis for this episode. I don't know. It's probably that, I guess.
It's gone a lot of places. We've taken a winding road here.
Mm-hmm. And lots of teasing for future episodes, it sounds like, too, of things to talk about.
Yeah, this was just sort of like, we spend a lot of time slamming the "that's for another episode" button.
I'm gonna be honest, I want to do another one of these episodes. I think we have more to talk about with this subject, too.
Yeah, and we've already talked for, like, what, an hour? Yeah.
I think there's a lot more sort of specific movies that we can talk about too if we want to. Like, and we didn't talk about westerns at all, and like I have so much to say.
We didn't dive into like buddy cop movies at all. We didn't even talk about Shane Black movies at all. We didn't even touch that.
So next time, part 2 of the male intimacy episode's thoughts is definitely going to be called something like this is just about, it needs to be called something about guns, because that's the like westerns, cop movies, you know, like it's like it just is. Okay,
what's the quote from Kiss Kiss Bang Bang about like, you threw my fucking gun in the lake? Gun in the lake.
Oh, like
yeah. Gun in the lake.
Sneople at the movies, episode whatever, gun in the lake.
My special pistol that my mother gave me as a gift. What happens when they drag the lake? Are they gonna find my pistol?
You're gonna find my gun.
Yeah, this is gonna be another hour as
man.
I quote Kiss Kiss Bang Bang all the way through.
This is this is a segment that doesn't have a title, but the segment is we love this and you should too. And that's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. If you're looking for, talked about a lot of movies in this episode. If you're like, what's a place to start? What's a movie to watch? Watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It has Robert Downey Jr. It has Val Kilmer. God, I always forget the name of the actress, which is like very bad of me.
Michelle Monaghan.
Michelle Monaghan.
Monaghan. You're welcome.
It's like
who's fucking
early
great.
2000s Hollywood disaster movie.
God.
Robert Downey Jr. looks like a fetus. It's phenomenal.
They're both like in their 40s when they're doing it too. I remember you being like shocked by that when I looked up both of their ages.
Oh, they both look so young. They all look so young. Val Kilmer plays a private detective named Gay Perry because he's gay.
And his name is Perry.
So everybody in fucking Hollywood calls him Gay Perry.
Harry and Perry. It's
Harry and Perry.
If anybody has seen, if anybody out there has also seen a lot of film noir movies or has just seen LA Confidential, which is in itself a pastiche of noir movies, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is like a shout out to neo-noir movies. It has like a lot of the same like style. It's very meta, and I don't want to like get into it.
it's almost like a slapstick noir. Like, it has really strong slapstick comedy roots.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Loving, though.
Yeah. Oh, very, very. This movie loves it loves its subject matter.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Things that I would warn for is sexual abuse, child abuse.
Yeah. It's pretty violent.
Oh yeah, I definitely saw this movie when I was way too young for it. There are some torture, like a torture scene that you don't really see a lot in, but it, you know, sorry, if you're 12 years old and you're listening to this podcast, don't watch it. That's about how old I was when I first saw
podcast.
It. Yeah, don't listen to this
also,
podcast.
yeah, Jesus, if you're
go watch Voltron. Don't be here.
Of all the things you could have said. God.
I'm sorry, I stand by it. It's too late. I have to stand by it now.
Okay, you have to die on this hill now, Matty. I'm sorry.
How do you do, fellow
time
kids?
To die.
Anyway, if you're 12 years old and listening to this podcast, get better role models.
Listen to a different podcast.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I will say all of the things that we warned for. I personally like have trouble watching stuff with like child abuse and sexual assault. This is one of those things where it was handled sensitively, given the fact that most of this movie is full of idiots. It was, and nothing is shown on screen. I had to take a second to think about that. No, nothing is shown on screen.
No, it's not.
If any of you have seen Shane Black's other more recent film, The Nice Guys, it's like that, but in present day. Basically. Or Or Iron Man
That's
3.
another, go watch The Nice Guys. Yeah. Other ones that would be, we didn't touch on Dead Poets Society, but that's definitely like a template movie for this kind of thing.
And we need to like, before I talk about that movie, I feel like I need to rewatch it. It's been...
Yeah, for sure. I haven't seen it since Robin Williams passed away.
Yes, I am.
Neither have
I.
I
think that was a choice all of us purposely made. Because I was going to be a hard one.
Ruin
but I think it'll be worth it to do it again. So
yeah. Other ones that we didn't. I mean, we'll do a whole one on westerns because.
Oh, dude! Unusual double features.
Okay, so in the spirit of our male intimacy episode, and this is something that I want to start doing, which is unusual double features, where if you have a bunch of time to kill on a weekend evening or something, go, if you can, support your local video rental, if there still is one where you live, because they're cool and you should support them. And just suggest, like, kind of offbeat movies to watch one after another. And so for this one, I'm going to suggest that you do a double feature of Tombstone, the 1994 Western with, again, Val Kilmer, because...
He's in a lot of these movies. He was also in Top Gun.
He's in a lot of these movies. He was also in Top Gun, which we didn't talk about, which we can at some point.
We fucked up. Yeah. We didn't even think about Top Gun.
Yeah, and Kurt Russell and some other people. And you should pair that with a funky little movie called Appaloosa, which stars Ed Harris and Viggo Mortensen and Renee Zellweger. And it's an interesting little, it's a very small scope film that has a lot of, it doesn't shy away from kind of complicated male relationships and almost like a kind of codependent male relationship at its center. And also, they're definitely, like, getting older, and it deals with that in a, out in the Old West, which is a kind of a fraught situation anyway. I think it's a really underrated little film. Like, I went to go see it with my parents or something and fucking loved it, and it got, like, absolutely no press or anything, but I think more people should watch it. So, yeah, that's your unusual double feature for this episode is Tombstone and Appaloosa. Check it out. Tell me what you think. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Sneople at the Movies from the Infinity Break Network. Check out infinitybreak.net for more awesome content, and come hit us up on Twitter at people_snake or shoot us an email at sneopleatthemovies@gmail.com. Our amazing music was done by Johnny Ronaldo, who you can find at Johnny Ronaldo on Twitter. If you've got a subject you want to hear us talk about, a movie you think we absolutely need to see, or, I don't know, we said something that, like, wildly disagrees with your take on something and you want to get in, like, a fun slap fight with us on Twitter.
A fun slap
fight. Come on over and say hello. Yeah, there's, like, such a thing. There totally is such a thing as a fun slap fight. Also, if you can, please leave a 5-star review on iTunes and share the show with your friends or anybody else you think would enjoy it. Or, I don't know, trick your enemies into listening to it. That would be good too. Any way you can spread the news helps us so much and we would really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for listening and we'll see you at the movies.